I'm currently based in Toronto, Ontario. I'm a freelance photographer as well as an artist, but I'm also am filling a management position in a catering role at a Toronto restaurant called Free Times Cafe, known previously before COVID for its entertainment and weekly brunch because I wear many hats. I was at Pearce Williams from 2015 to 2017, or maybe it's 2014. 2 years as the counselor, and then my last year in 2017, I was program director. I like to use the word magical of Pearce Williams because whenever I go back on those memories, I always think about how like sparkly they were. And even though I was tired and I was like working really hard, I always just like think that there was something special there. It's like when you drive down that laneway, like I still get excited. I was like, even if it's not for camp. So I always think about like driving down the laneway. It's so magical. So So my unofficial favorite camp song was the song of like 2014 summer. I think it was like Riptide by Vance Joy. And then more officially, my favorite camp song is the chapel song. It's I Can Do All Things. So I really love that song. It makes me feel very empowered. I'm from London, Ontario, and I went to high school at HB Beale. I went to like a really cool program there. Some campers might be going soon. It's called Beale Art, and I think that really kickstarted my like interest in the arts and just like how it helps you and like you can like really learn a lot about yourself and other people when you get to connect in that kind of way. So I went from there to OCAD University in Toronto for school to do my bachelor's of fine arts, and I worked really hard for 4 years and learned so much about like the art industry and teaching and like art education. And I did like this quick like life-changing trip to New York when I was actually working as program director, learning how to do the job, where I got to speak at the MoMA in front of a room of like artists and scientists talking about this like crazy unrealistic dresser that we built that actually just eats your clothes and turns it into biofuel so that you can go buy more clothes. Really talking about consumerism practices. Um, and then from OCAD, I like did all these super cool things. That was just one of them. I was planning on going back to school, but then I took a gap year last year, so I'm still figuring it out. But I do know that I love working in a team environment and I love people and I love taking on a leadership role, even though that requires me to learn a lot of new things every place that I go. So yeah, maybe I'll go back to school. Maybe I won't. We'll see. I always think back to my first cabin when I think of my favorite memory of Pierce Williams because there's so many of them. Um, but my first week was like really challenging as a counselor, and I was still learning how to do the job, and I didn't have a ton of summer camp experience before coming to Pierce Williams. So it was a lot with like living and like trying to get along with these girls. And like one thing that I do remember every single day is that rest hour we would sing in the wagons and they would all sing and they would sing these songs. And one of my favorite memories of Pierce Williams was the Thursday night that week we did Devos, and we brought all of my campers out to the gazebo, me and Tie Dye, and he's playing Riptide, which is the unofficial summer song, on the guitar, and all of the girls were just there so grateful to be around each other and singing the song. And yeah, it was magical. One thing that I've definitely learned at camp, despite appearing to be a very organized person, is that I am not very organized. I have drawers. So I have drawers, you open them and then you shut them again. Um, Joe said that everything has its place, and everything does have its place, not only in life, but in my belongings and organization skills. So sometimes things are just in the wrong place. You got to get them back. I think the best advice that I've ever received was from a good friend of mine, and she told me to look where you are for the answer. Um, I think whenever I have a big question, I start to panic, and everyone usually does that. They panic, they don't know the answer, and I just you have to ground yourself and look where you are, look where you've been, and the answer is usually just right in front of you. You just not ready to see it. It was right there. So yeah. I just finished the series on Netflix called The Queen's Gambit, and I really enjoyed it because I am an avid lover of chess. But I also really love a television show in which like a female gets to take the lead without it all being about like that she's a woman. But it's also just a lot about intelligence and like skill and strategy, and I really liked that kind of gameplay aspect to it. Um, and then I'm also just starting, even though my grandmother has recommended me this book probably 1,000 times, Margaret Atwood's Orson Craig, and I'm really enjoying it so far. Would definitely recommend it. I'm not that far in, but she was right. So I would love to see Piper or Bella Cunningham answer these questions, as well as Lulu or Matt Jack Jones. I think that people should support Pearce Williams because it's a great place for young people to just like find out who they are and like their paths. I found that for me, especially when you're young, it's all overwhelming. You don't really know what you want to do. And even if you do, you're not really quite sure of it. And it's good to get that confidence as a young person in which you can just do what you're supposed to be doing and like get a good head start on that in life and like really just get to know yourself really well, among other great like-minded people.
Yeah!